remember, it's more than just a radio station. It's a lifestyle. ChristianLivingRadio.com.
We are a blended family.
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 And we are a blended family.
You're listening to ChristianLivingRadio.com with the Snaps.
Blended families, week 4 of 12, placement of the mantle. All right. 2 Kings 2:13. This is where Elijah is being carried off to heaven in a fiery chariot, and he basically takes his robe and lets it fall.
Hey, this is AC Green. You're listening to Christian Living Radio.
Much more than just Christian radio. It's a lifestyle.
Elisha. It would be Elisha and Elijah. You know, they couldn't have Tom and Jerry or something in there. But Elisha had asked to have a double portion of what Elijah had as far as being a prophet. So as Elijah was being carried off into heaven, he let his robe fall, and Elisha picked it up and carried it on from there. So we're just kind of defining what a mantle is here. So, okay, so Elisha picked up Elijah's mantle. Now, in a blended family, especially in a lot of cases, you have two single parents that choose to get married, and so they have to figure out who's going to wear the mantle, because they've both been wearing it. You know, they've been, they've each been the head of their own household. They're used to calling the shots with their kids. And so that is where one of those big areas, obviously finances is always the first one, but after finances, it's parenting that creates the hassles in a marriage, especially in a blended family. So in our premarital class, there's a very similar lesson that talks about a lot of this stuff, and I guess I was thinking of old TV shows when I was putting it together, but it was like from Who's the Boss to Married with Children. Two old TV shows. And that's kind of the way this works. You're the boss in your house, but now you're combining households. Now who's going to be the boss? And that's who, or where a lot of the opportunities for disagreement and conflict and those kind of things come up is in the parenting, right? Because 9 out of 10 times, the people that are coming together with kids have this mentality that I own my kids, and you don't.
What? No, just kidding.
Lost. So that's where things go south generally, is in this process of trying to combine two different single parents into a husband and a wife team with our kids and not yours and mine, right? So we talk about the mantle here. It was, one of those things back in the Old Testament, especially, that a prophet had this robe that he wore, which was sort of like an ID card. People could tell based on this robe that the guy wore that, oh, well, that's a prophet, right? And it really kind of signified that, he had made a lot of sacrifices in his life, and probably didn't have a whole lot of stuff. He wasn't rich or anything. But he had dedicated his life to God. So the robe was something that was very obvious to the general public that, oh, this is a prophet. This guy's spent some time with God. So we either don't want to listen to him or we should listen to him. It was like one or the other. Usually they didn't want to, because, people hate the truth, right? Especially when they're a bunch of sinners. But, of course, we're none of those in here. But as far as what do we do with the mantle, we really have to go back to the Garden of Eden here, because that's where the curses begin, right? Sin enters, the curses come, and it's, I think, significant to understand the difference in the curses here, because God cursed the ground, not Adam, but the curse was that Adam was going to have to work the land. So he's going to have to work for a living now. I mean, he was supposed to tend the garden, which is sort of like working, but God provided everything. All he really had to do was pick the fruit, not real hard. But now the ground was going to be full of thistles and all that, so he's going to have to really work it, and it was kind of the sweat of his brow that he was going to be able to feed himself. Okay, that was the curse that Adam had to deal with. It wasn't on him directly. And I think we'll touch on some of that in a little bit. Part of that has to do with Adam was created in the image of God, I think. And so there's a bunch of those kind of things that kind of fall into place here. But so God cursed the ground. Adam has to work the land. Now God cursed Eve directly with two things. One was pain in childbirth. Okay, everybody understands what that one is. But the other one was her desire would be for her husband, but she would have to be in submission to him. That's the curse. Okay? Now, and what that really kind of means is her desire was going to be to lead. She's going to want to be the head, but she's not going to be able to. She's got to be number two. So Adam was created in God's image, total image of God, of complete image of God. And then God said, well, it's good for man to be alone. Let me make a helpmate for him. And he took that rib and made Eve out of man. So there's still the one complete image of God in man. But now it's in two parts. And he said, be one. Get back to the one I created in the beginning. Just now you have a partner. Right? So it's still his image, but it's represented in two parts. Okay? But that there's built-in conflict in marriage because of these curses here. Especially the desire to lead for the wife. We'll get more into that also. So Adam has to work for a living. Eve, there's going to be pain in childbirth, and she's going to want to be the head. Okay? Now,
Watch that cord.
I got it. Men's nature, okay, without the Holy Spirit, we're talking here, is a rebel. And so is a woman. We're all rebels, right? Now, men's nature, if they could, they would choose, most of them, would choose not to have to work. If they didn't have to, they wouldn't. When guys retire from whatever job or business or whatever, they generally don't want to work. They'd rather play. Women, their nature, again, is a rebel.
I'm not saying anything. I'm listening.
Well,
I'm listening.
I was waiting. Again, their nature tends to be to rebel, but the nature, because of the curse, is they want to be in charge. Okay, so the guy doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to be in charge. The woman wants to be in charge. She likes to do stuff. You would think that'd be good, right? I don't want to work. You want to be in charge? Hey, Let's do this, right? And most of us do at some point, but what happens is because we were created with a purpose.
You're listening to ChristianLivingRadio.com with Doctors Larry and Carol Snap, Blended Families Ministry. Class is already in session. Let's rejoin them now.
By God, we know deep down inside that that's not what we were meant to do, right? So we both end up resenting the fact that, you know, the wife's like upset that the husband's not working. He's upset that she's trying to tell him what to do, and because then it becomes nagging and all that kind of fun stuff.
I still didn't say anything, Larry. I didn't say anything. I'm waiting.
I'm waiting. So, okay, so you understand there is conflict in marriage. Yes. If there isn't, there's something wrong.
Right.
Okay? But that's why. Okay? A big part of understanding the whole spiritual warfare of marriage and life in general is understanding why it exists. If you know why it's there, then you can start recognizing the stuff that's happening, and if you keep putting your armor on, you'll be all right. You're going to be a guaranteed casualty if you don't get your armor on, because you are in a battle, whether you like it or not. Okay? If my assistant would come up.
Yeah, Johanna.
Johanna. Okay, now, my jacket here represents my mantle, right? I'm supposed to be the leader, the head of the household, and all that fun stuff. But like I said, you know, it's, especially here in Phoenix in the summer, who wants to wear a jacket, right? It gets hot, it's heavy, there's a lot of responsibility. I'm kind of lazy, so yeah, I don't want to wear it anymore. I'm done. I'm not going to wear that. Hey, wait a minute. This is what happens, right? One of those needs of a wife is security. If I take my mantle off, there goes the security. So what happens? Well, that nature of the wife, well, I kind of want to be in charge anyway. And if you're not going to wear it, I'm going to. Right. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to wear it. But it's not really meant for her to wear. Right. It doesn't fit. Right? Thank you.
Good job.
Yay. That's good. All right, so I'm going to take my mantle back. Put it back on. It's kind of cold in here. So...
Oh, it feels good.
That's what happens, right? If the guy isn't spending time with God, he's not really listening to what his purpose is, he doesn't understand who he is in Christ, and all those kind of things, it's very, very easy to get lazy. I don't want to wear this. I'm going to just drop it. And, you know, one of the first times we did this little exercise, I barely even let go of it, and the gal was reaching for it.
Yeah,
you know,
it didn't even hit the floor.
Trying to catch it before it hit the ground.
Yeah, she was that quick.
That's how quick it happens. Now, sometimes it might lay there for a day or two. You know, like she's trying to be good, but she's waiting. Are you going to put this back on, or what's happening here? Well, I'm going to wear it. All right. So that's why there's a lot of conflict in marriage, is because first off, there's the curse, and then our sinful nature is to not do the right thing. But things work really well when we're both doing what we were created to do.
But Larry, we didn't know that when we were first a blended family. You were perfectly fine. You didn't even know about the mantle. And Larry said, because when we got married, I had 3 children came off of 2 divorces. Larry had never been married before. I had a 4-year-old daughter, a 15-year-old son, and a 17-year-old daughter. And Larry thought, well, I'll let her take care of the kids, and I'll just be there for her. But he was taking the easy way out. Yep. He didn't know it was his job to help me finish raising those children. And where I was brought up Catholic and he was was brought up to maybe go to church with his neighbors once in a while. His